Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be planting up our peppers. That's right, you heard me. We're planting up our peppers and I'm excited. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited to go ahead and finally get my peppers in the ground because I've been babying these peppers since January, okay? So it's time to get them in the ground. I have to stop procrastinating and go ahead and get this garden planted up. But along with our peppers, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of companion planting. We're going to plant some tomatoes in this bed as well. We're also going to place some chives in here. I have some marigolds if they're still living. We're going to get those planted into this bed as well. But let's go ahead and get into the video. Yay! It is an absolutely beautiful day today. Uh-oh, let me not get my tag mixed up. So beautiful out here today. All right. And we're just going to put about a tablespoon of bone meal in there, and I'm just adding maybe about 2 tablespoons of the slow release fertilizer, the vegetable fertilizer here, and just mixing that up in the hole. I'm just gonna set my pepper, my baby, right on in there, y'all. Isn't that beautiful? Just beautiful. So grateful to even be able to have these starts and even be able to plant up anything right now. All right, habanero in the ground. Bam. Moving on. Okay, now that we have our peppers all planted up, it is time to get our tomatoes in the ground. I only was able to find 2 determinate tomatoes that I purchased. Everything else is indeterminate. So I'm going to put 2 determinate tomatoes in this bed. And the reason I decided to place tomatoes in the bed with peppers is because tomatoes and peppers are a part of the nightshade plant family and they are companion plants. So tomatoes, I believe, deters the beetles and also the soil nematodes, and they also bring in beneficial insects. So let's go ahead and get this planted. The 2 tomato varieties that I'm planting is going to be the Bobcat tomato and the Thunderbird tomato. I had to think. I was like, is it Thundercat? But yeah, we're going to plant up the Bobcat tomato and the Thunderbird. So the Bobcat, it states it is a beautiful, firm beef steak tomato on a very healthy and vigorous determinate plant. It has juicy red tomatoes of uniform shape and size. It states that it's going to be between 3 to 4 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide. And its cold hardiness all the way down to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's go ahead and plant. It says planted in full sun. So let's get into it. All right, so we are going to plant our Bobcat tomato right smack dead in the center. What I plan on doing is using these two trellises as stakes. I believe it's called the Florida weave method that I'm going to try to achieve, but this is how the plant is looking. We do have a little bit of yellowing, but we'll get that taken care of. So let's go ahead and dig our hole here. We are going to dig this hole pretty deep, pretty deep. And I think I might just go ahead and lay it down in a trench-like manner. Just break that right on off, because this will go ahead and shoot out roots all along the bottom. So I believe that's exactly what I'm going to do. Let me just make this even deeper, y'all. Want this to go pretty deep. And we're going to bury it in this trench here, and it'll stand up on its own. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good, y'all. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and plant some bone meal. And we're planting, and remember, we're planting the bone meal for healthy roots, so the roots can go ahead and establish, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of the slow release fertilizer. And this is just a vegetable fertilizer, an all-purpose vegetable fertilizer. And I'm just going to mix that in. All right. And let's go ahead and get that laid down into the trench here. All right. Looking good. Perfect. And this will stand all the way up when it's time to stand right on up. Once that sun starts shining on it, it'll go ahead and stand up. All right, that is our Bobcat tomato. If I can get the sign in the ground. Just dig a little trench for the sign. Okay, so let's get the sign in the ground. I don't want it to come out during bad weather or anything. All right, let's just move some of this soil back. There it goes. All right, we got our first tomato in the ground of the season. That is quite amazing to me. Okay, so we got our Bobcat tomato in the ground. The next determinate tomato is the Thunderbird. This is how the Thunderbird is looking. Isn't that beautiful? So let's read this. This is an improved quality, high yielding, hot set, determinate, round variety with a strong plant and a good general disease resistance. Fruits are extra large in size, very firm with good shelf life. Okay. It says this is going to grow between 3 to 4 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide. Apply water so that the soil remains moist but not soggy. So let's go ahead and get it planted. This is how the sticker looks. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and get it planted. All right, so I bought this container of marigolds and they're not doing too hot, but I'm still gonna plant them in the ground, get all of the dead foliage off, and they'll do just fine. So what I'm doing, I'm just planting them on the outskirts of this trellis. I tried this technique last year, and when I tell you, they protected the cucumbers so well last year. The marigolds grew so big and bushed out to where it just protected the vines on that plant. So I am just going to plant them right on the end of this trellis here so that it can protect our crops. So one thing about marigolds are good companion plants for peppers because they attract the white flies. While I'm just checking out the roots, but they attract white flies all while deterring bugs like beetles and also aphids. So these are good for your peppers. So if you have any peppers, definitely get you some marigolds to plant with them. The only thing that I'm putting in the hole for the marigold is going to be the phosphorus. Phosphorus is good for providing for healthy roots, of course, as we stated throughout the video, but any type of flowering plant, it is going to create big, beautiful blooms on your beautiful flowers and things like that. So definitely keep that in mind when you are planting out these planters with these beautiful flowers. Make sure you put you some phosphorus in the hole. Okay, so we got the phosphorus over here, and let's just throw a marigold. I have an orange one right there, so let's stick with the theme of orange on that end. I'm trying to find the healthiest one, y'all. Healthiest one. Woo, it's good and pungent. They're not gonna like this at all. Those beetles and aphids, they are not going to like this at all. Okay, perfection. Perfect. So I am just going to do that for all 3 trellises. Okay, we are moving on along. The next thing that we're going to plant up in this bed is going to be chives. I didn't start any onions or garlic this year. So the next best thing, I tried to start some seeds. So I was able to get some onion chives started. I didn't have any garlic chives. So I'm just going to go ahead and get these onion chives planted into the bed. This is going to deter those aphids, okay? I mean, the name of the game is trying to get rid of the aphids. Right now, I think one of the main problems that I have in this bed is beetles, and aphids is a big problem for me in the garden. So that is what I am mainly trying to treat. If you have different pests in your area or in your garden that you battle with year after year, you want to get companion plants that deter those pests. But for me, it's just beetles and aphids so far, and also squash bugs. But I'm going to go ahead and get these. These are onion chives. We're going to get them planted. I don't have much room in the bed, so I need to figure out where to put these. These are perennial, so I hope they grow back. So I want to make sure I put them in a place that I don't mind them growing back in that area. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and get these planted. We are on the last mile. I think this is the last mile. I don't know if I have any other herbs. I would like to put some basil in here, but the basil grows so big that it might take up a little bit too much room. So I'm not too confident about putting basil. I might just put the basil with the tomatoes, but I would love to have, look, I see beetles crawling around while I'm speaking to you all. I would love to put some basil over here with the peppers to improve the flavor. The chives is also going to improve the flavor of the pepper and also help with the yield of the peppers. But let's go ahead. I can chat your ear off. Let's go ahead and get this planted into the ground. All right, so I have gotten everything planted into the bed. I did decide to go ahead and put 2 basil plants up in the bed. So I put dill. I also separated a few of the dills in half and placed them in the bed in areas that I could. So what I'm doing now, I'm just shaking up my fish fertilizer. This is the Alaska fish fertilizer. The NPK on this is 511. In the YouTube streets, they call it 511. But I am just going to go ahead and get this mixed in. This sucker is good and thick. And I've been doing this so long, I already know how much to press. When I first started, I used to have to use a measuring can, a little measuring spoon. But I've been doing this so long, I already know how much to put. Someone asked, a lot of people asked in the comments, why so many? Why do you have so many watering cans? Well, I don't have any type of drip irrigation. So instead of having to continuously go back to, well, first of all, let me say, is I try to use rainwater as much as I can. I have 2 50-gallon rain barrels that I collect rainwater in, and I don't have a pump. Maybe that's something I should have thought about investing in before the season started. But ooh, this is good and stinky. But what I do, I just like to keep these watering cans filled. That way I can just set them around the garden instead of having to continuously with one water can go back and fill it up and, you know, do that little dance. As it sounds, it can be pretty tiring if you have to continuously walk back to the water barrel to fill up a 2-gallon watering can. So I like to just have them. And I didn't buy these all in one season, by the way. This has been accumulated over the last 3 to 4 years that I've been out here playing around in the garden. So I am just, so this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 gallons of water. I don't even know if that's going to be enough for the bed. So let me go and see. I think I have 2 more watering cans. Let me go and see. Yes, I do. Okay, perfect. All right. And I need to be careful not to get any of this fish fertilizer in my hair because, whew, goodness. After you use this fish fertilizer, boy, you be good and stinky. Good and stinky. Good and thick. Whew. All right. Let's get this mixed up. Ugh. All right, let's go ahead and get the vegetables watered in with a low nitrogen fertilizer to help with the foliage, and then I'll come back and show you what I all have planted. I want to take my gloves off, but I don't want to get that stuff on my hands. All right, let's take a look. Let's just do a quick span of the bed. Honey, I didn't put in some work today. I have put in some work. This is a 26 by 3 feet bed, or is it 3 feet by 26? I don't know, but it's 26 feet long and 3 feet wide. And we have it full of peppers. We have 2 tomato plants. We have some chives, basil. Let's go ahead and take a look at some other plants. So over here, well, on this end of the bed, I have my hot hot peppers, and then on that end we have more of the sweeter peppers. So it's kind of coming in an array from sweet all the way to hot. So down here on this end we have jalapenos down here. We also have some serrano peppers here in the back. We also have, let's see, this is the Scotch bonnet peppers. I purchased these two. So those are the Scotch bonnets there. I also purchased this one at HEB. This is the Anaheim pepper. We got some lemon basil here. All right, that's the chive that's planted. This one right here I thought was pretty interesting when I purchased it. This is the burning bush. So I can't wait to see how that looks, but ooh, that's a nice healthy plant. We have our Tabasco. I have one little Tabasco. That's the only one that lived. Back here, this is the Bulgarian carrot pepper. We have an array of habaneros going on in the bed. In this area, we have some chives here. This is our Thunderbird tomato plant. And I am just going to stake that in between the two trellises. Okay. And as we go over this way, you're going to begin to see more of our bell pepper and our sweet peppers. So right here on the end, this is the red bell peppers. All right, this is our sweet banana peppers. Okay, we got some chives going on. I tried to put chives in each area, but this is just red bell peppers over in this area. This is our bobcat tomato plant. Okay. All right, let's see if we got anything special. Oh, this one right here is the purple bell pepper, the purple beauty bell pepper there. Let's see, this is the orange bell pepper. I hope it lives because both of them was in one pot and I just separated them now, and it looks like we already have some bell peppers growing on that, so hopefully it doesn't experience too much transplant shock and it'll still produce for me. But this over here is just red bell peppers along with some California Wonders. That's the California Wonders. And I just put out the, I just watered with the 511. So you're gonna see plenty of mosquitoes around because they live it. And then back there, let me show you the basil. I did decide to go ahead and put some basil. I just couldn't pass it up. I felt like I had a little bit of space right there, and as long as I can keep this basil under control. But this is the sweet Aussie basil, and then I have the other lemon basil down on that end. Okay, so now that we have the bed planted up, I was just thinking, how am I going to keep this bed moisturized? Well, not moisturized like some lotion, but how am I going to keep it from drying out throughout the summer months? So one way I'm going to combat that is by going ahead and putting some mulch. I like to use the Texas cedar mulch in my vegetable beds. I don't like to use any type of mulch with dyes or anything. And plus the cedar mulch deters pests. So that's what I'm going to do. I have like maybe 2 to 3 bags of it in the shed that I've had throughout the season. So I'll use that, but I'm going to wait until it rains. It's supposed to rain tomorrow for the next 2 days, a light rain. And then once it's done raining, I'll go ahead and rinse the siding of my house off from all of the soil splashing back and hitting the side of the house, and then I will put that down. Even though it is cool outside in Texas, it's still humid. So I am still sweating, okay? I am still getting a good sweat in, but I am so happy that I was able to get this bed planted up. Oh, that is a big weight off of my shoulders. The next task is getting all of our tomatoes planted. The only 2 tomatoes that we got in the bed were the only 2 determinate tomatoes that I have. The rest are indeterminate. So I'm happy. As I stated, I'm happy I got it done. And also, by the way, for the chives, the basil, and what else did I put in this bed? Chives, basil. Yeah, for the chives and basil, I just put some blood meal into the pockets, okay? And then I watered everything with the fish fertilizer. It is going to have a light rain tomorrow, so it's going to get good and moist in that bed and get The roots is going to get good and healthy, but I am happy. Thank you all so much for joining me here this evening as I planted up our spicy bed. This is our spicy bed, okay? Thank you all so much. Have a great night. Bye.